And
Hello. 16 years ago, Rwanda descended into a genocidal destruction. Within a space of 100 days or 3 months, 800,000 people were killed, slaughtered at yes or no, and 1,000 more raped. I was a little boy when it happened. I was less than 10 years old. And although it happened hundreds of miles away from Kinshasa, my birthplace, my life and the lives of millions of Congolese have been shaped and transformed because of that genocide. And so tonight, I wish to say a few words. And I hope my words would reach an audience much wider than the one I see before me. The genocide of 1994 was a crime inflicted by human beings on other human beings at the watch of other human beings. It was a crime not just against the Rwandan people, a crime not just against the African. It was a crime against man, a crime against the entire humanity, the entire international community. It has left a permanent scar on the mind of our continent, and as we try to make sense of the incomprehensible atrocity that became Rwanda in those 3 months, and as we try to remember, let's remember for a purpose. And that purpose to me is to make the memories of those who perished part of our collective memory. That purpose to me is to remind those of my generation, those who had been brought up in the shadow of that genocide didn't happen because of the presidential plane crash in 1986. It started with injustice, exclusion, hate speech, tribalism, and inaction from those who heard, saw, but kept quiet. That purpose to me is to make the genocide a cause, a reason to unite the whole of the Great Lake region and Africa and the world beyond against injustice, against hate speech, against racial discrimination, against poverty that often breaks peace and harmony within and between community. That is my commitment as a Congolese. So today, during this season, when we observe Yom HaShoah, and as we cry the cries of those who are no longer with us because of that genocide, we, the people, also want to remember the Congo, a country that has been trapped in a battle for control of highly valuable and irreplaceable natural resources destined for London, New York, and Paris. And so tonight, I'm thinking of the Congolese women living in a lonely island of genocide. I'm thinking of the little children who, because of the wars and the tragedy that continues to be written as part of Congo's history, have been robbed of their childhood. I'm thinking of dozens of brave Congolese men and women who have been imprisoned and killed because they dared to speak against those committing those atrocities in the Congo. For me, the Great Lake region, or Central Africa, is going towards a future we don't much want to see. It's a future we don't know much details about, but it's a future that has a sign. Signs resembling those that Edmond Dumont had saw 100 years ago. Signs resembling those that we saw during Obote's reign. Signs that read, money is still so much more important than flesh and blood of mankind. We also know that we cannot rely on government or world leaders. They seem to have not learned very much from the lesson of history. They seem to have not learned anything from the meaning of never again. We can only rely on you. Those of you who have come out tonight, and those who will listen to this in weeks and months to come. I know we can create a miracle. We know that it was the actions of one man 100 years ago that brought an end to the reign of King Leopold II over the Congo. We know it was the actions of one man again during the Nazi Holocaust that saved lives of thousands, hundreds and thousands of people, Oscar Chindro. We also know that it was the actions of one man that put so much cracks on the foundation of apartheid that apartheid could not stand any longer. We also know that it was the actions of one man, Robusto Sabagina, during the 1994 genocide that saved the lives of over 1,000 people. And so tonight, I want to extend an invitation to you. If we take that lesson with us when we go home tonight, then we will begin to make a contribution, our contribution to the legacy of Oscar Chindro, the legacy of hope. So thank you so much for coming tonight, and thank you so much for all the support and kind words we received from you over the last few weeks. I'm delighted that we have Professor Sabagina here tonight. Paul is a man rightly held across the world. He describes himself as an ordinary man, but clearly he is an extraordinary man. After watching Hotel Rwanda, and after reading his autobiography, An Ordinary Man, there is one question that lingers over my head, and that question is whether I would have been able to do what he did. I would have taken the action he did during the 1994 genocide. So thank you so much for coming, and it's my privilege to give you the privilege to listen to Professor Sabagina. Please, let's give